The White Horse Prophecy is a statement purported to have been made in 1843 by Joseph Smith Jr., the founder of the Latter-day Saint movement, regarding the future of the Latter-day Saints, or Mormons, and the United States of America. The Latter-day Saints, according to the prophecy, would, quote, go to the Rocky Mountains and be a great and mighty people, end quote. And it further predicts that the United States Constitution will one day, quote, hang like a thread, end quote, and will be saved by the efforts of the White Horse. Some have speculated, on the basis of the White Horse Prophecy, that Mormons expect the United States to eventually become a theocracy dominated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The authenticity of the prophecy as a whole, which was not made public until long after Smith's death, is debated, and the leadership of the LDS Church has stated that the so-called White Horse Prophecy is not embraced as church doctrine. However, the belief that members of the church, the Mormon Church, will one day need to take action to save the imperiled U.S. Constitution has certainly been talked about over the years, and has been attributed to Smith in several sources, and has been discussed in an approving fashion by Brigham Young and other LDS leaders, even to the present day. So Joseph Smith and his followers considered themselves the last real Americans and the legitimate heirs of the Pilgrims and Founding Fathers, who would be called upon one day to save the U.S. Constitution. Joseph Smith is believed to have then said in 1840 that when the Constitution hung by a thread, Latter-day Saint elders would step in on the white horse to save the country. And according to a diary entry made by John Roberts of Paradise, Utah, in 1902, Joseph Smith gave the White Horse Prophecy in early May 1843, during the period in which the Latter-day Saints were headquartered in Nauvoo, Illinois. Please watch my video on the Nauvoo Legion and the Mormon state of Deseret. Smith is recorded as saying that the Mormons, quote, will go to the Rocky Mountains and will be a great and mighty people established there, which I will call the White Horse of Peace and Safety. Adding that, quote, I shall never go there, and predicting continued persecution by enemies of the church. Smith reportedly said that, quote, you will see the Constitution of the United States almost destroyed. It will hang like a thread, as fine as a silk fiber. I love the Constitution. It was made by the inspiration of God, and it will be preserved and saved by the efforts of the White Horse and by the Red Horse, who will combine in its defense. Smith additionally said, according to the diary, that the Mormons would send missionaries to gather the honest in heart from among the pale horse, or people of the United States, to stand by the Constitution of the United States as it was given by the inspiration of God. Numerous wars involving Great Britain, France, Russia, China, and other countries, and saying that the European nobility, quote, knows that Mormonism is true, but it has not the pomp enough and grandeur and influence for them to yet embrace it. He has also reported to have said that a temple, which the Latter-day Saints had planned to build in Jackson County, Missouri, will be built in this generation. Please Google Independence, Missouri for more information on that. In 1844, Joseph Smith rejected the platforms of the major candidates for President of the United States and decided to conduct his own third-party campaign for the presidency. Okay? an effort which was cut short by his death on June 27th of that year. Now, to be fair, in 1918, LDS President Joseph F. Smith dismissed the White Horse Prophecy as a ridiculous story and a lot of trash that has been circulated about. Now, in 1918, the LDS President Joseph F. Smith dismissed that old White Horse Prophecy as a ridiculous story and a lot of trash that has been circulated about by two of our brethren who put together some broken sentences from Joseph Smith that they may have heard from time to time. And in his 1966 book, Mormon Doctrine, LDS theologian and later apostle Bruce McConkie wrote that, quote, "From time to time, accounts of various supposed visions, revelations, and prophecies are spread forth by and among the Latter-day Saints, who should know better than to believe or spread such false information. One of these false and deceptive documents that has cropped up again and again for over a century is the so-called White Horse Prophecy," and yada yada yada. Well, I don't know what prompted the LDS Church to do this, but in 2010, they issued a statement saying that the, quote, "the so-called White Horse Prophecy is based on accounts that have not been substantiated by historical research and is not embraced as church doctrine," end quote. Also in 2010, LDS historian Don Penrod examined significant differences in two early handwritten accounts of the prophecy, and talking about how some of the words and phrases that were used were not characteristic of Joseph Smith's speaking style. Though there are doubts about the authenticity of the White Horse Prophecy as a whole, several sources attribute to Smith the idea that the United States Constitution would one day hang by a thread, and LDS church leaders have issued similar warnings with regard to the Constitution. Brigham Young did in 1855. Orson Hyde did in 1858. Charles Nibley did so in 1922. Reuben Clark talked about this. And then in 1986, we have Ezra Taft Benson talking about this prophecy in a BYU University speech. Then we've got, in 2010, Dallin H. Oaks. Well, Elder Dallin spoke of the Constitution at a Constitution Day celebration, warning about the importance of preserving the U.S. Constitution. In 1967, George Romney, yes, Mitt Romney's father, George Romney, spoke of the White Horse Prophecy. Mitt Romney did in 2007. Mitt Romney told the Salt Lake Tribune that, quote, "I haven't heard my name associated with the White Horse Prophecy or anything of that nature. That's not official church doctrine. I don't put that at the heart of my religious belief," end quote. And also Glenn Beck, of course, that conservative Glenn Beck, who was also a Mormon, which doesn't make him a conservative, but you could probably guess that he is a conservative. So talked about this quite a bit, actually. He did so on the Bill O'Reilly show. He did so while he was interviewing U.S. Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah, who's also a Mormon, saying, quote, I heard Barack Obama talk about the Constitution and I thought we are at the point, or we are very near the point where our Constitution is hanging by a thread, end quote. Thanks, Obama. Hatch appeared on Beck's Fox News show in 2009, and they once again were talking about this hanging by a thread Constitution. Dana Milbank, even from the Washington Post, has brought it up. 2009, Idaho's gubernatorial candidate Rex Ramel announced plans to hold a series of meetings with believing Mormon men, which were to include discussion of the White Horse prophecy. Well, in response to that, the LDS church officials issued a statement saying that the church is politically neutral and hoping that the campaign practices of political candidates would not suggest that their candidacy is supported by or connected to the church. Ramel later retracted his original plan to limit his meetings.